皆さんこんにちは and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So today I'd like to talk about something that I said I will be talking about soon in the previous live stream I did on this channel. It's about the travel ban of Japan. If you guys might know, if you are, for example, have been longing to go to Japan for studying or working or traveling and such, you might know that Japan has been almost completely closed for a very long time now since the new Omicron new COVID-19 thing, right? I don't know too much about it, but ever since this new disease again came out, Japan has actually completely banned on people with nationalities other than Japan to enter Japan. So I've heard that a lot of families have not been able to reunite for a really long time. I know about the tens and thousands of students not being able to come to Japan even though they're willing to study Japanese or work here in Japan and so on and so forth. And I've actually been receiving a lot of basically angry messages and DMs through Instagram and such asking me, Shogo, when is Japan going to be opening its borders? Are you guys going to be going back to the Edo period, kind of thing? And I think I'll be making some YouTube shorts about this. I might be making a full video about this, and you guys might know that Japan's this really strict travel ban is going to be changing soon. Hopefully, no one knows what's going to happen though, because this was something that was supposed to happen much earlier, right? Yeah. And there was a time when the Japanese government said, okay, we're going to be lifting the borders and everyone's going to be able to travel again. And then it closed completely again. So no one knows what's going to be happening from here. But there are a few things I really want to share with you for everyone to, should I say, deepen your understanding towards how Japanese society basically works. So the first thing I want to say is completely personal. I want to say that I have always been, and I always will be on your side. You guys might know that in Japan about the new travel ban, nationalities other than Japan are not able to come into Japan. That is... you can really easily understand that that's not logical at all. That doesn't make any sense. If you take the same PCR test, if it's negative, then you don't have the disease. You can come in regardless of your nationality. So it's completely illogical. It's not rational at all. And that's what I think too. And I completely agree with that. And I know about all the sorrow, all the frustrations of people not being able to come to Japan. I know about it. I was a person who suffered from it myself. So why I'm saying this is because the people who give me DMs start trying to blame me for this problem, for this travel ban, and why so many people, I was about to say, there's 89%, there was a survey that said that 89% of people, Japanese people, support this travel ban. Yeah. And a lot of people have been sending me angry DMs saying, what the F, Shogo? And that is what I am always thinking as I live my everyday life too. Remember, I was trying to challenge into tourism industry. I began a business. I put in millions and millions of yen into my new business. It had to close in 2 months because of COVID-19. We all suffered from it, right? And it would be great if I could meet you in Kyoto. That would be my biggest dream. I love doing YouTube. I love it from the deepest part of my heart. I love making content videos for you guys to enjoy. But what I enjoy the most is absolutely actually meeting you and working in the tourism industry, actually meeting with my guests, on all the omotenashi and hospitality, thinking about these things, trying to make the room look neat, thinking of what kind of activities would be the most fun for my guests. This was what I enjoyed the most, and this is still what I would enjoy the most if I can do it now. I am a person who is waiting, longing for the day that everyone can travel like normal, and I don't want you to forget that there are 11% of people who are against the travel ban, and I am one of them. Yes, I always feel very sad, not angry, but I'm really, really sad when people send me DMs thinking that I am one of the 89%, even though I am a person who is always talking about social problems in Japan, things that Japan should change, and I always talk about how we're going to be changing, what I'm going to be doing, and then there's still some people who probably do not know much about me. I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this, you probably know a lot about me taking the time to listen to this podcast of me just getting really angry. You probably understand for me. But this is number one. I really, really wanted to make this clear in today's podcast, and I will be making this very clear in my other videos if I'm ever gonna be making other videos like shorts and full videos on my main channel. Yep. And there's a second thing. The second thing is really, really important too. Second and third basically are almost really, both really similar. Number two, we gotta remember that Japan is the world's leading aging society. Remember, I always talk about this in a lot of the videos that I talk about all the social problems, related videos. We have to remember that more than half of Japan's population is older than 48 years old. Okay, in 2025, 1/3 of Japan's population is going to be older than 65 years old. 1/4 is going to be older than 75 years old. Now, many of these people do not even know how to use a smartphone. They only have a TV inside the house, and the only information they get is from the TV. They cannot, for example, even if they had a question in their mind, oh, what's happening outside of Japan? Oh, what's going on right now in Japanese society? The only source of information they have is on TV. And we all know that TV media cannot always be completely flat and completely, unbiased, right? Mm-hmm. With a smartphone, that's rather possible, because you have your own, you can actually go and look for information on your own. But watching TV, it's really difficult because they only give you fixed information, right? And you can't be, you're just sitting there and you're just digesting what the TV tells you. And that's what most of the population of Japan is doing. Yep. So that's the reason why hardly any of the elderly in Japan know about all the social problems or actual problems that's going on outside of the world. They don't know, especially, again, because this was supposed to be the third reason, by the way. I'm going all over the place. But the third reason is because Japan is an island nation, right? So it might be hard for many people outside of Japan to imagine, but there are people in Japan who have literally never met a person outside of Japan before. Or more saying, if I tell you more about that, that means they have never met someone who has, for example, hair that's not black, skin that's not yellow. Is that racist? I don't know. Skin that's not our Japanese skin color, Asian skin color, for example. They've never met someone before like that. There are a huge population in Japan like that. So there are tons of people who can literally not imagine. Maybe they've seen a movie before, maybe they've seen some drama before, but they can't really actually imagine that there are people living outside of Japan because they've never actually met you before, right? And then we also need to think of, again, Japan is an aging society. Coming back to that, we have to remember who has the right to vote in Japan. Remember, again, most of Japanese population, is really, really old, right? And their source of information is basically TV, and they're living on an island nation, in a really rural area, right? Like in the countryside area, they've never met anyone outside of Japan before. They basically hardly meet anyone except for the people in their neighborhood. Yep. And they have the right to vote and choose the government officials, the politicians. Now, what do the politicians do then to get more popularity, to get more votes? They do things for the elderly, what they would be pleased with, what would make them happy, right? So you have to remember, like, people like me and my generations in their 20s, we are suffering. We are literally suffering from the severe, very strict travel bans because our businesses will be limited. I've met tons of people in my Kyoto Hidden Gems series where I go to these facilities, activities, and talk to people. Everyone is struggling and suffering and barely living their lives because they can't they can't do their business, right? They can't make money. But what about the elderly? They get a lot of help from the government. They don't need to do any business, right? They're older than 65 years old. Many people are in their nursing homes, having their kids, pay money for them. They're not working anymore. What would be best for them? Please imagine, right? What would be best for the elderly? Well, it would be best if nothing happened in Japan. No diseases, sicknesses whatsoever would be the best, right? Then what would the government do to please them? It would be best to say no one is allowed into Japan, because that would be what the elderly would please with the most. Well, that would make them the most happy, right? The happiest. Yeah. So we need to remember, this travel ban problem in Japan right now is just one example of what the aging society in Japan, and also the island nation, also the collectivism. This is just one very, very tip of the, the tip of the iceberg kind of thing, It's a really small problem that's just poked out to the surface, and everyone's talking about this right now. But this is actually linked to all of Japanese social problems. So we always need to remember, every time Japan's government, the politicians in Japan make very illogical decisions, very unrational decisions, a lot of weird things that the Japanese government do, we need to remember, oh yeah, that's right, Japan is super old and Japan is super isolated in the first place, and a lot of people can't even imagine that there are young people suffering because they're living inside the house, watching TV, and just digesting the information that TV offers them, right? They can't imagine, not just overseas, the situations overseas, they can't even imagine the people in their own community, the younger generations that are actually suffering today. If they actually notice that, they would be doing something, but there is no system, there is no environment for them to know about it. And this is the problem, and the travel ban is just one of them. Okay? All right, so this is probably the podcast that I've talked the most. I'm actually standing right now. I'm talking, yes, talking with a lot of energy. I hope I made sense, yes. And the reason why I'm so frustrated is because this is the root of all social problems in Japan right now. But I thought, at the same time, I thought that this would be a really good occasion for more people to learn about how Japan is. And I'm not saying that we should just give up. If my conclusion was, well, let's just give up because Japan is an Asian society, I wouldn't be doing my activities right now. I know there is something that we can do to make Japan a better place, and that's why I'm here, right? Yep. But I thought this travel ban is actually a very good occasion for more people to learn about how Japan is like right now, the current situation, and so on and so forth. So the difficult part about making a full video about this topic is because the situation is changing a lot. If I talk about the travel ban, by the time I post the video, the situations might be completely different again. So it's really difficult, but I thought this would be a great occasion to learn more about it. So I think 90% I will be making a full video on my main channel too, so I hope you look forward to it. Your comments you give in this podcast here, I would definitely consider it when I make the full video, so it'd be great if you can give me your ideas and thoughts. Yep. And your situations you're in your country too. Okay? Then everyone, thank you so much. I'm very sorry if I sounded really angry. I'm not angry, I wanted to speak with a lot of passion because this is really important for me too. Okay? So then guys, as I always say, the ultimate goal of my life is to make all Japan lovers' dreams come true. So I know that there are a lot of people outside Japan who have their hopes and dreams of coming to Japan, studying Japanese, looking at all the nature and history and culture and things, maybe even living and working here. But as we discussed today, there are a lot of problems happening in Japan. We are losing our traditional culture. The younger generations are dying because of these problems that we've been talking about today too. And I'm very afraid that we will not be able to make everyone's dreams come true in the future. So that's why I'm here. I'm going to be dedicating my life to try to solve the social problems, trying to preserve and evolve traditional culture, and help out the younger generations so they can have a brighter future. Yep, this is my dream. This is what I'm going to be putting my whole life and soul into. Okay? And as you guys know, the first step towards this ultimate dream is to achieve 1 million subscribers by January 2023 on my main channel. So your comments, your likes will help to boost my videos to new viewers. So it'd be great if you can help me out. Okay? So this is a really, really long podcast. I'm so sorry I talk so much, but I'm really, really looking forward to seeing your comments. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you again soon. See you again? Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.